Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into something really fascinating. The unexpected beauty you can find in things that are broken, worn out, and, well, imperfect. Let's get right into it. We live in a world that's kind of obsessed with perfection. We want the shiniest new thing, the flawless product, right? But have you ever felt this weird pull towards something that's the total opposite? Something old, a little worn, maybe even a little damaged? Well, it turns out that feeling is not random at all. It's this deep appreciation for the story that imperfection tells. In this explainer, we're going to unpack that puzzle, and we'll start with the most famous concept of them all.
All right, let's start with the foundation, Wabi-Sabi. It's more than just a word. It's a whole philosophy, a way of seeing the world that finds real value and charm in things that are temporary, incomplete, and imperfect. Now, what's interesting is that wabi-sabi isn't just one single idea. It's actually a blend of two. First, you have wabi. This word used to mean something like the loneliness of living out in nature, but it evolved to mean finding a quiet, almost serene peace and simplicity. And then you have sabi, which used to just mean rust or decay, but it completely transformed into an appreciation for that elegant kind of beauty that only time can create. So how does a philosophy like this become a physical, hands-on practice? Well, the most stunning example is an art form that takes brokenness and literally turns it into pure gold. It's called Kintsugi, which means golden repair. Instead of trying to hide the fact that something broke, a Kintsugi artist highlights the cracks with gold. The whole idea is that the object is more beautiful for having been broken. The breaks become part of its story, not something to hide. And honestly, this is the perfect illustration of wabi-sabi, embracing flaws and seeing them as a beautiful part of an object's unique history. So wabi-sabi is perfect for objects. But what happens when you apply this idea of appreciating imperfection to something with a little more character? Well, that brings us to our next concept. The next piece of our puzzle is this phrase,味がある. In English, we might say something has character or soul. It's a huge compliment, but a really specific one that values something much deeper than just technical skill. To really get it, just think about food. A simple piece of candy is just sweet. That's it, one note. But a truly great dish or a really complex wine, it has layers. It might have some bitterness or a sour note or a weird texture, flavors that you kind of have to spend time with to really appreciate. That complexity, that is aji.
And this is where it gets really interesting. There's a big difference between calling something skillful and saying it has aji. Praising skill is a judgment of technique, like an actor who hits every mark and says every line perfectly. But has aji is a feeling. It describes an actor whose performance might be a little rougher on the edges, but it feels so deeply human, and it's the one that stays with you long after the movie's over. It's all about valuing that unique, imperfect, human thing that you just can't measure.
Okay, so we've covered beauty and brokenness and character and flaws, but what about the actual process of aging itself? As you might have guessed, there's a concept for that too. Most of the time, we think of aging as Keinen-Bika, basically deterioration over time. Things get old, they fall apart, they lose their value. But this alternative concept, Keinen-Bika, gives us a totally different way to look at it. Beautification over time. And I bet you've seen this everywhere. It's the idea that time and use don't just wear things out. They actually add layers of story, character, and beauty. A brand new pair of jeans is just a product. But a pair you've worn for 10 years, it has a unique fade and softness that tells a story you just can't buy off the shelf. That right there is Keinen-Bika. So we have these three powerful ideas: beauty in flaws, character over perfection, and aging as a process that actually makes things more beautiful. But what's the secret thread that connects all of them?
It goes way deeper than just what we see with our eyes.
And it's not just some abstract philosophy either. It's something much more fundamental, more instinctual.
It's something physical.
At the heart of all this is the urge to touch. I mean, think about it. Objects with wabi-sabi, things that have aji, things that have aged beautifully, they're all rich with sensory information. They make you curious. When you see an old wooden table with a deep patina or a piece of kintsugi pottery, you don't just want to look at it. You want to feel its texture, its weight, its history. Here's a great way to think about it. Compare a handwritten letter to a text message. The text is efficient, sure, but it's sterile data. The letter, on the other hand, is a physical experience. You can see the pressure of the pen, feel the texture of the paper, see the unique strokes of the person who wrote it.
It is loaded with rich sensory information. This whole aesthetic of imperfection celebrates that richness, the kind that makes you want to reach out and touch something.
So ultimately, these ideas give us a whole new lens to see the world through. It's a way of finding profound beauty, not just in the perfect and new, but in the imperfect, the aged, and the deeply human. It's an invitation to appreciate the stories that are hidden all around us.
So take a look around you. Maybe it's a favorite leather jacket, a worn-out book, or even the laugh lines on a loved one's face. What in your life has a story that's worth touching?